Welcome back to the PT Graduate Podcast. My guest today, Michelle Vann. Hi, Mitchy.
Hi, Rich. How are you?
I am very well, very well. Enjoying this Matariki day off. It's great.
Mm.
You've been busy though.
I've been busy this morning. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Preparing for the holiday.
yeah, yeah. I go on
Nice,
holiday tomorrow, so I didn't
fantastic.
mind. Yeah, meeting up
No,
with people
no.
this morning.
Yeah, when you've got something to look forward to like that, it takes the pain away. If it's a day where everyone else has got the day off.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier. And as I said, everyone gets to sleep in, so
Yeah, nice,
yeah,
nice. Not too early doors, which is nice.
no.
So tell us about MVP training, Mitchy. What is MVP training?
So MVP, so all my clients, of course, are MVP, the most valuable people.
Yeah,
It does also stand for Michelle Vann, personal training, but yeah,
yeah.
it's more about the first one.
Mm.
Yeah, and I've been back full time for about 5 years. So I originally started more than 20 years ago
Right.
um, in the fitness industry, and that was training. That was starting in the gym, walking the gym floor,
Hmm.
instructing, which there isn't much of that now. But that's how you sort of started off and doing basic
Mm.
programs and things, and got into classes really early as well. And I really loved taking classes, instructing. And so I continued on the class instructing path, but wanted like the cushy office job sort of thing. So I left the fitness industry in that regard, in the training regard, for a number of years. And then I just missed it so much.
Mm.
And it's one of those things that's always been a passion for me. And I got to the point of going, why work 40 hours plus a week for somebody else? Not something that you really enjoy, not hanging
Mm.
out with the people that you choose to hang out with. So, yeah, I bit the bullet and left that and went back, and it's been great.
Good for you.
Mm.
So, are you doing the same now that you were doing prior to the break?
Wow, it's evolved so much, hasn't it? The
Yeah,
training.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Tell us the journey.
classes are still good. Okay,
Mm.
so in the beginning, um, when I was leaving school and everyone was off to uni and doing their BA, um, I and a lot of people, I've only really got one friend that actually left school knowing exactly what she wanted to do, and she's still
Yeah,
doing it. And
right.
I feel like a lot of people just wasted their time. They didn't know what to do, so they went and studied. Um, and I was like, well, what do I enjoy doing? And at that point, I'd hardly ever been in a gym. Came from a small town, so we didn't really have a gym there. um, so it's more sports and fitness that that was my passion. Um, I don't know if you read my thing on my website, but I remember writing this that, like girls have their little wee diaries when they're
Yep.
young. And when it says when I grow up, like my one was always to be fit and healthy. It wasn't to be a doctor or anything like that. Like that, I just wanted to be fit and healthy.
Yep.
And then my
Yep.
second thing was to be a veterinarian.
Yes. Yes, I
um,
did see that.
yeah. So I I thought, well, if I just left and found something, a pathway that I was interested in, that's got to be better than going and studying a
Mm.
generalized thing and still, not really know what I wanted to do. And I thought, well, it's
Mm.
it's not a waste of time. Like I'll enjoy it if I come out with, a career from that. And if I don't, as I said, I didn't waste my time doing it because it's still doing things that I love. So yeah, so that's how I got into it. And then of course the gym is the heavily based part of the training, and just got into it and like, yeah, loved it even more. So I've always played sports. That's my
Mm.
like background, but yeah, love the gym. So that's
Mm.
that's just how I fell into it. I just
Yeah.
wanted to keep doing what I enjoy. Yeah,
Fantastic. So you
yeah,
really were following a passion. It's something you clearly tuned into at an early age, which we don't all have the luxury of being as clear-headed as that and
yeah,
following it, just following that path.
yeah, absolutely. I remember there was one hockey season. It would have been like my first representative years, and I didn't make the team. It was the first time I
Mm.
tried. This is very young age, and all I could think of was like I've got to be fitter. I've got to be. And I
Okay.
thought the more that I am, the more I'll enjoy it. and then the more,
Yes.
other skills and things can develop. So yeah,
Yeah.
I might have been like 8 at the time, maybe. And I was just like, no, I don't want to miss out on it next year. And so
Mm,
I never missed another year after that. And I just, yeah, worked hard on it. And I just thought I didn't like that feeling of not being able to keep up with others or
mm, mm.
have that lacking. So yeah.
Interesting. I noticed that as well, and as soon as I read it, it reminded me of the Richie McCaw movie. I don't know if you've seen that. I
No.
think it's Chasing Great is what it's
Oh,
called.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether it was his coach or his dad. It might have been his dad who said similar thing. Look, I think if you were fitter, you'd enjoy this more. And it was that connection between fitness and enjoyment, not necessarily fitness and performance. And so I can see the parallel there. So you're in good company.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I just kind of thought if you're slogging your guts, you're trying to keep up with people, you won't be enjoying yourself. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's hard work. It's a battle. I remember that at school as I was a terrible, terrible cross country runner, and I've sort of gone full circle and embraced the running
You
now. But
have.
I was always last. It was just terrible and just so demoralizing. It's like not looking forward to those winter months when the cross country came around.
I loved it.
Yeah, you see, same thing, totally different
Yeah.
experience.
But I'm not a runner now.
No, no.
Yeah.
You've done some CrossFit in the past, or do you still do that for yourself?
Still do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So, last year or the year before, I did my level 1 certification.
Right.
Not necessarily like to coach. I do step in for our coach when they go away, and I fill
Mm,
in where I can. Um, but it was my learning as well. So then I can teach others. And it wasn't just in that CrossFit realm. That was for everything that I do in the gym with my
mm,
clients. That, they're
mm,
not CrossFit people, but can we get a good base? Can I get more skills? Yeah. So
mm,
it was for both. It was for my clients as well as me. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's kind of like a
fantastic.
passion of mine. And I think
Mm,
I love it because it's varied. That's the whole reason behind it. I'm not a strong person. I'm not the strongest in the people that I compete against, but then I'm good at other things. And that's the fun about it. And I've embraced if you know much about CrossFit, it's about training your weaknesses rather than just
mm,
sticking to your strengths. So
mm.
it helps you be a lot more well-rounded.
Yeah,
But I also found that it was a class environment, so the community is a big thing.
yeah, yeah,
And it was a space for me to work out and for me to be coached by someone else, as opposed to trying to work out in the gym space. And yeah, bless our members, I love them, but you just get interrupted so much.
yeah, yeah. You're in the middle of something. Can you just show
Yeah.
me again? No.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
good. It's a
and
win-win.
it's
Yeah.
and I get coached. I think that's the big thing. So once again, I look at it all as upskilling. I can pass on what I learn.
It's that's clearly a big value of yours as well, because I know that our paths have crossed in that learning journey of yours. So it's something that you value quite highly by the sounds of things.
Yeah, yeah. And as I said before, like personal training's evolved over the years so
Mm,
much that it's not an industry that you ever can just
mm,
sit and
yeah,
carry on. Like you always want to be learning about new things. Yeah. And as it's evolved and it has become more holistic, you're not just training somebody, you're doing so much more
mm,
that you've had to evolve. That it's not like the
yeah,
old days in the
yeah,
gym.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
And I think that whole piece around being coached makes you a better coach yourself. If when you come across people who you've tried to coach, maybe clients, and it's been quite a tricky process, they're probably people that haven't been coached before. But as a coach, if you receive some coaching yourself, you know what is necessary to be a good coachee, to be the person that's being coached, to be
Yeah.
receptive to the process. So it makes you a better coach yourself, I think.
It does. And it gives you, I guess, different angles as well. Like
Mm,
if you are used to coaching in one particular manner and people aren't quite getting it or you're not quite gelling, and you see someone else, just different things you say, different cues, whatever, then you're like, oh, that's it. And then when they click, it's like good. So it's that whole the personalities type thing of how do people learn, I should say,
Yep.
so
Yep.
it's that, and it's just being able to relate to your clients. So you just get more tools that you can use.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Mm,
great stuff. And uninterrupted workouts.
yeah.
It's got to be good.
Yeah.
Um, I was really curious about. I've sort of scribbled down a few bits here, but Healy, the frequency healing device.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me more.
It's very interesting. It's actually something I was going to add, and I haven't really haven't really
Okay,
added to my train. So yeah, it's using like different vibrational like waves.
right.
And so people can either, like, there's different the pulse points like on your wrists or on your ears, that
Okay.
sort of thing. Or you
Mm.
can do like a generalized, you don't need to hook people up. So the idea behind it is it takes a reading, you put like your thumbprint on the phone and looking at
Uh,
it, and it gives your body just the waves, a reading of where you're at with things. What do you need balance in your
mm,
life?
mm.
I actually used it more for our old dog than anything else.
Ah,
Very anxious around Guy Fawkes, that sort of thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I would run programs on him when that was on, and it helped to calm him down.
Mm.
I know like people that have got problems sleeping, that sort of thing, they'll put on a sleep cycle, and then all of a sudden, they've been able to sleep through that night. So
Mm.
often, to start off with, you might need to use it 4 or 5 times a week. And then as your body gets better, like less and less. But
Mm.
yeah, it's just
Mm.
trying to heal your body in the places that needs it. So it is really interesting.
Yeah.
With my injuries and things like that, I've been putting them on me. Yeah. I thought just anything extra helps. And then there's things like there's physical things, but as I said, well, like the anxiety or asthmatics, like it's a whole different realm because your body's
Mm.
got so many functions. It can help. It just, yeah, picks up in so many different ways.
I'm
Yeah.
curious. I'm curious about the dog. So,
Yeah.
how would you apply it to a canine as opposed to, I'm thinking sort of, fingers or hands. So there's obviously some sort of contact with the skin, but
Yeah.
is
No,
it
for
is it
him it was programs run that could clip on his
ah
ears.
ah
Yeah. Yeah.
okay
Yeah, and so I did it to start off with. The whole reason why I haven't really run it so much is originally I just had my normal phone, which is where I have all my notes for my clients on the go.
right
So you can't run any other application at the same time.
mm.
Like you can't close that down for it to run. So I was actually
Yeah,
waiting to get a new phone, which of course I got, but then I was going to use my old phone. And what I could do is just use the vibrational ones where quickly do a scan at the start and
mm.
then hook the actual device somewhere on their body, like tag it onto their shorts or top or something. So they're getting the benefit while they're working out with me.
So you can
Yeah.
okay so you don't
Yeah.
have to sort of sit still and be passive with it. It's you can
No.
be quite active while it's running.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to be wired up. There's different courses that you can do with it. Yeah.
I'm more curious now.
Yeah.
I need to understand it better.
Yeah. Yeah. I just
So
and I thought holistically, it's just another
mm,
way you can help clients. I've done it that rather than in the workouts, I've just given the devices to some clients to take home with them.
mm.
Yeah. And then they can just use it at night.
So is it quite a clever machine? So it sort of it works out what you need after it's done a little run a sort of diagnostic assessment type thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And it's got all these different programs, and it just comes up with which programs you need. It gives you a percentage. So, if you were up in like the 70 or 80%, it means you need help in that area. If you were down
yeah,
in like the 40%, no, it's not so bad. So it
right.
works on the things that you need the most
Yeah,
help with.
yeah. So is it reading pulse, heart rate variability, those sorts of things, or something else?
No, no, just literally the like radio waves that they say. They have them in, and now it's escaped me. I can't remember the name of it, but they do have them in hospitals, especially in the UK.
Okay.
Those big can't think of the name, but it's like a big device that hooks up. But
Mm.
basically, the Healy's a portable version of it. Yeah,
Okay.
just to
Okay.
help people recover. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. And so, so how where did you come across it first of all?
A friend of mine, a girl I used to work with, yeah, she
Yeah.
just found out about it.
Mm.
She found out about it because she used it for her. She had like depression, anxiety, and I was trying to understand because I didn't know too much about it at the time,
Mm.
how she was getting helped with, because like depression, be highs and lows, should be good for a long time. And she didn't know what her triggers were or anything like that. I was like,
Mm.
have you looked into that sort of thing? So
Mm.
that's how she got into it, was finding out someone had said this has really helped with depression. So
Okay.
yeah.
Mm. Fantastic. And are
Hmm.
those easily available in New Zealand, or is it imported out from overseas?
Although, yeah, they come from overseas. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, as long as you can get your hands on one, then it's reasonably straightforward to use. You don't have to have a qualification or anything for using it.
No, because it's basically there's two different apps on the phone, depending whether you're going to use the programs that you clip onto your body somewhere or you just do
Yeah.
the vibrational. Yeah.
Okay. Ah,
Hmm.
very interesting.
Yes.
Learned something new today. The other one I was curious about was the self-defense.
Oh yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So I've done a lot with the Girl Guides actually in Christchurch. They were a big one. The
Hmm.
first one I ever did was a corporate one. But then the Girl Guides got into it. The girls, they say they do a little bit of self-defense in school. You know how they might spend
Yeah.
like an afternoon. So a lot of them had done a little bit before, but obviously it's something that you can't do once and then
Hmm.
know
Hmm.
it, or have the like motor neurons to be like, oh, okay, this is just what like react
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I did taekwondo as a child. I started about 7 years old.
Right.
And I was so little that every time I went to a grading, I only made the belt tip. So I would be white belt, yellow tip, and then I would make yellow belt, and then yellow belt, green tip.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and so I did that for quite a number of years. Um, and that's where you learn different skills like that. So there was the first one, the corporate one, something had happened to a colleague of
Hmm.
theirs,
Hmm.
and they asked me, because just being in the gym sense, just saying, do you know, of anything? And of
Hmm.
course there's places around, that you can go to and you can do terms, that sort of thing. But they just wanted to do like a one-off, they just wanted to learn new skills
Yeah.
and just have a time, I think, that everyone could kind of debrief about what had happened, and
Right. Right.
yeah, just learn a few things. So yeah, so they asked me, and I did some searching, and I was like, I can't find like a course, for them to do,
Hmm.
just like for them, for a workplace to just do a one-off sort of course, like a one-day thing. So I said, well, I've done
Hmm.
taekwondo for years. I know lots of self-defense. I can put
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
together.
Hmm.
And they loved it. So yeah,
Brilliant.
I did that, and then yeah, and then the Girl Guides got onto it. So yeah, just the different like chapters around Christchurch.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
we just spend a few hours and go over the basics of self-defense, a bit of sit down to start off with, and then we finish with some moves, and tell them to not go home and beat up their brothers, but try it. And
But they'd love that.
yeah, yeah. And it's just more about for them learning how to be safe. Yeah.
Mm, mm,
Yeah. That
mm.
whole preventative thing before you need to act.
Yeah, yeah. So that
Hmm.
it can be a little bit instinctive when you need it.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. I mean, and that's what I teach them too. I mean, I've been doing it for years, so it is kind of instinctive for me. Whereas,
Mm,
you just do one afternoon, you're not going to do much, but just to give them some sort of base, or if they can just remember a few things.
mm, mm, mm.
Mm.
Yeah, nice. There's some really interesting different things in there. You've also got the corporate thing. So you've done that, but with the self-defense. You've done other corporate work in on different topics, or
No, not topics like that as such. Things like taking corporate groups for like weekly sessions. Like it's
mm,
great when you get an office full of people that are like, we're going to have a challenge, we're going to, get fitter or something like that.
Okay.
Um, when I was in England a few years ago, that's where that first started. The guy that I did some training for, he had a boxing class in London.
Right. Right.
So they kept all the boxing gear there, and we just had like a corporate space, and we just cleared out in their lunchtime, and they showed up, and we did boxing session. And like they're very fortunate at their work, they had showers and things like that, and anyone
Right.
that did things like the boxing or they'd have yoga and things like that, then the work gave them an extended lunch hour, so then they could have a shower and something to eat
Excellent.
afterwards. So yeah,
Excellent.
so that's what kind of gave me the idea when I came back to get into corporate work.
Mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. So it's
Excellent.
just fun. Yeah,
Good for them as well, to do something outside of work,
yeah,
brings them together.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a break during the day, especially if they're
Mm,
sitting down, they're sedentary. Yeah,
definitely,
yeah. Then
definitely.
there's
And
no
I'm like,
excuses to not work out for the day. Not too
no,
tired, not too
yeah,
early in the morning. They can still leave work at the end of the day and go home.
yeah. And good that they allowed it to happen during the day and allowed time for changing and showering, all that sort of thing, because
Yeah,
some organizations I've worked with try to bolt it on, oh, we'll squeeze it in at the beginning or we'll squeeze it in at the end. It feels like an add-on as
yeah,
opposed to sort of embracing it as a part of the way they do things at work.
yeah. And that's what I think that workplaces have got to recognize more of. I mean, you always go on about, you can show the figures about how productivity
Mm,
increases, they're not, they have a break during the day, they're feeling better, they've moved. Um, but yeah, it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, most workplaces come down to the bottom line, don't they? But so
they
doing
do.
things like before or after work, just as you say, it's an add-on and it still
Mm,
makes it hard for people. So
mm,
it's not, but when it's in the middle of the day, it's like, hey, you're here anyway.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Mm, a lot more
It's
accessible.
it's funny, isn't it? Workplaces think they know what they're doing in terms of that productivity, and the way they approach it is often so wrong.
Mm,
It's head down, bum up, and don't stop. And
yeah.
we know that the science is already there to say no, that doesn't work. In fact, the breaks are what makes it improve.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. It's like
mm,
that difference to working in the office to working from home. You tend to get so much more work done when you're at home.
mm.
You might stop and, have a bit of a snack here and there or put the
Yeah,
washing on, that sort of
yeah,
thing. But you get through it. You're more productive because you are on the go a bit more. You just, yeah, feel a bit more relaxed.
yeah. Well, those little jobs which you do when you're at home are forced breaks in a sense. You get up, you get a drink, you get up, you put the washer on, you get up, you hang the washing out. You go back to your work, and you're just that little bit more productive. Your brain's had a distraction of a different kind, and
Mm,
then yeah, bang, and you feel a little bit more in control of your work. That's another big motivator for people in the workplace, isn't it? Being
yeah,
feeling like they're in control of their own work.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Control of their day.
Mm, mm, mm. Excellent. So, Mitchy, give us your tips. What things have worked for you over the years, and you've got some experience under your belt, so there must have been some things that have worked for you to continue this in this industry for over 20 years.
I think, I mean, for me, it's a passion of mine, and I enjoy it. I think
Yeah.
anything that you do, if you can take an enjoyment factor from it, you're going to do so much better. So that's my big thing is you've got to love what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've definitely got to love being with people.
Yeah.
And being able to relate and that coaching thing comes in, different people require different things from you.
Mm, mm, mm.
Um, so I would say that being able to adapt, you,
Yeah.
you and I think the more experience you have, the easier it is for you. I think when you first start out, you're like, no, we've got this plan, and someone comes in and they've hurt something or they're just not feeling great today, and you're like, but we've got to stick to the plan. Whereas now, I think the more experience you have, you can be like, cool, we're just gonna rock with this today, and
Mm,
and then
mm.
just them end up feeling good afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Scribbling while I listen.
Yeah.
I think you're right. That adapt thing can be as specific as a session or as big as business and the environment you're operating in. COVID, for example, everyone had to adapt, didn't they? So
Oh, definitely.
those who didn't were the ones that struggled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
saying actually the other day, that's all the gear that we've got in the garage, kettlebells and bands, they only really came out in COVID times. I say to someone, I bought my kettlebell when Christchurch had the earthquakes because
Right.
our gyms were closed down for a bit. So I
Yep.
was like, I'm going to do this kettlebell. And we lived probably a block from a park. And I was like,
Right.
well, I didn't really want to walk down and carry my kettlebell to the park to do a workout. So I drove. I put the kettlebell in the car and drove. And then of course, you build a few more, and COVID was good. It was it was quite funny. My clients were saying that like I saved them in a way. I gave because I jumped online
Yeah.
every day
Yeah.
and we had different types of workouts to do.
Right.
And it held them a bit accountable, gave them something
Mm.
to do, keep them on with their fitness and moving. And I said
Mm.
to them, the second lockdown that we had, I don't know, the first one
Yeah.
was quite enjoyable, but the second one, I said, you know what, you guys actually saved me because if I didn't have to jump on and do all those workouts, I think I just would have gone into relax mode because
Mm.
we lost that structure in the day.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah, it was fantastic. But yeah, you definitely need the environment to help you out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You do.
Mm,
I think you're so right in terms of that two-way thing. With there was a similar experience for myself. It was definitely us supporting them and them supporting us both, emotionally, financially, so many ways. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And we had days that it wasn't all about exercise. We had just days if people just wanted to chat, we jumped on, good on Zoom, and yeah,
Fantastic,
yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, that human connection again, isn't it? That reason for remaining and belonging to a community. So important.
definitely, yeah.
Mm, brilliant. All right. Where can people find you, Mitchy? Is it mvptraining.co.nz? Is that right?
That's the one. Yep.
Yes, got it right first
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, I'll
Yep.
put that in the show notes, and a link to that so that people can find you if they want to chat to you and can continue the conversation.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cool. So we'll have a fabulous holiday.
Yes. Oh, I will do indeed. Yeah. Looking
Good,
forward to
good,
it.
excellent, and
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much for having me on.
Hey, no problem. Thank you, and thanks for your time, considering you're packing and getting ready to go. So much appreciated.
Well, thank you very much for jumping on when you're on your holiday.
That's okay. Good stuff. Thanks, Mitchy. See ya.
Okay. Thanks. See ya.